24/7.
Feast your eyes! Test the die! Awesome sauce! How y'all doing? It's Wednesday night. It's Awesome Sauce Radio. I'm your host, Blind Adam, the comic pimp. And it's time to get everyone paid, late, and made. Hope you're having a beautiful night. Remember, you don't need sight to have a vision. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. Before we get into the heart of the matter, I'd like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank 98 Wednesdays. Get your comic books in a guaranteed 98 each and every Wednesday. Tell Rob Pillsbury that Blind Adam sends you. You can also check them out at PGX Comics East. They're awesome. It's one of the only grading companies where you can talk to a grader right on the spot, and turnaround times are the best in the industry. So 98 Wednesdays in his house. Also want to give Exotica a big shout out. Exotica is the sexiest convention on God's green earth. Their next convention is this weekend, April 27th through May 1st in Chicago, Illinois, at the Rosemont Convention Center. And, I may be at Miami, but unfortunately, I will not be able to make Chicago this weekend, so everyone be safe. Love you all. Also, I want to give MegaCon Orlando May 19th through the 22nd, Orange County Convention Center. Extremely great guest list. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, Clerks, Donny Cates, Mark Silvestri, cosplay, parties, Orlando Porter. Oh boy, MegaCon. I was going to party with Mickey Mouse. Oh boy. That's why I give a shout out to Bad Dragon. You need sex toys? Bad Dragon's got all the sex toys. They got them all. Also want to give a shout out to go to Kickstarter / Tracy Queen, and sponsor one of the greatest comics out there on the market. It's a really, really fun concept. Also want to give a big shout out to Maya. Maya Romero. Check out her stuff on SoundCloud. Her music's amazing. She'll be coming back in the show shortly. Also, Calamity Collectibles. Check Calamity Collectibles out on Instagram and whatnot. And now with all that out of the way, it's time to bring on the sexiest woman in comic book speculation. She is the queen of cosplay in the future. The mistress of Sex Panther herself. The one, the only, Autumn South. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Awesome Sauce Radio. Tonight we have a great, awesome guest for you guys. And I hope everybody has a fun time hanging out with us this Wednesday. And Adam, how has your week been so far?
My week's been emotional but decent.
Good.
Good. Like I said, I thank you and the manager for all the time we spent on the phone this week, planning out things for the future.
Of course.
We got some awesome stuff.
We have a lot of stuff going on.
About the weeks to come.
A lot of stuff for 2022 coming to everybody out there in the world. So can't wait for that.
Can't wait. Sometime in the show, we will reveal the art. At the end of the interview with our great guest, I will reveal some concept art I had made up for Project Pegasus.
Exactly.
And with that all being said, let's welcome our guests. They are the founders of Aneshi Press, the curators of Tracy Queen. This is one of the Kickstarter champions of comic books. Lindsay G and JL. How you doing?
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, that was a pretty good intro.
Yeah.
I feel pretty hyped.
We're stoked to be here.
Yay. Good.
Awesome. So, how did you guys actually meet and create a Nashi Press?
Oh, that's a good question.
Going for the deep backstory first. All right. You want to take it, Lindsay?
All right. We actually met online, but not through a dating app. I was on Model Mayhem as a model for a while, and JL was looking to do a photo shoot for a photo bashing idea that he had. And we started talking on there. And it was a time when I was like really, really, really busy. I was doing porn journalism all the time. I was running around and interviewing people constantly. And I was working on an art show that I made about the porn industry. So it took us forever to actually get together. And by the time we did, we had been messaging for a while and we got along really well. And so we immediately started dating, basically. And then it turned out that I was writing Tracy Queen, and he is an artist, and so he offered to work on it with me. So we came up with like a sample. We put together 8 pages of Tracy Queen, like, early concept art. We sent it out to a zillion publishers, hoping somebody would like it. And
It's a metric zillion.
A metric zillion. And they did like it. We actually got all these editors being like, this is great, but we can't touch it because it's too sexy to be like an erotic comic and go in our erotic section.
Of course it's too sexy.
But
No, it's too sexy to go in not erotic, but not
right,
sexual enough to go in the erotic section.
yeah. So it was like right in between the erotic and the not erotic comics. And they were like, we can't touch this. So we just decided that we would do it ourselves and start our own publishing company. So
Hi, Yuki.
Of course.
that's the story. That was like 10 years ago.
And at the time, so I had also another comic, Pack, which we're also still working on together. And Pack, I was writing, but mostly illustrating and kind of writing as I illustrate. And Lindsay was writing Tracy Queen, and I was like, hey, if you write my comic, I'll illustrate yours, so we'll trade. Like, she'll write both of them, and I'll illustrate both of them. Hey, David, what's up?
Hey, thank you for coming by.
So, it was kind of just like we both had the same need out of each other for our own projects. So that made sense early on. And also to throw out there, Model Mayhem is not a dating site. Don't go there looking for a date.
No.
Don't go there looking for a partner. It just so happened that this one fated night that we finally got together to work on something, Lindsay had a
Model
really
Mayhem
bad
is a good
day.
site, though.
Model Mayhem. It's
you're looking to
unlike
collaborate with
sexy
models,
jobs,
you're
remember?
legit, have projects.
Yeah.
It is decent.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a great resource.
I got a lot of great work through Model Mayhem.
It's just
I have trouble with people flaking out on me on Model Mayhem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, anyone can join, anyone can make a profile. Not everyone there is professional. Some people there dip their toe and run away.
Right?
People are super professional. You can get references. You can see who's who. You can see people, how many other people they've worked with, and how that's gone, and how many, good references people have, right? But some people on there are dicks, just like anywhere else, and you gotta watch out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, flaking is a whole industry thing.
Oh, definitely.
Whoa.
We can spend hours on that topic, I'm sure.
I spent a year on that topic.
So how did the concept of Tracy Queen come about?
Well, like I said, I was doing porn journalism. So, like, back in the day, I started in like 2007. I moved back to New York City after I'd been away for a few years, and I didn't have a job, and I just needed something that paid. And the first thing that came to me was a porn DVD reviewing job for a magazine. It was Fox magazine. And I was like, cool, this is the first paid writing job I ever had. And I was like, awesome, I'm going to be like watching porn and getting paid is going to be so fun. And then they basically started giving me like, this was the days when you would get like a 5-hour, like 2 or 3 DVD box set for each film.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was spending like 2 hours with like my thumb just on the fast forward button, like trying to get through these movies.
Get into the good part. Let me see.
It was wild. I thought it was going to be the coolest gig ever. And in some ways it was, but in other ways it was, just like a writing gig. But basically I didn't really know anything about the porn industry at the time, but I got really interested. I was like, I want to know more about how all of this works and who all these people are. So I started writing like columns and op-eds, and I started interviewing people, and I started going to conventions, Exotica mostly.
Yay!
Exotica.
Yeah. It was Exotica, New Jersey for me because I was living in New York. And I met some amazing people. Like, oh hi, sorry, distracted. Hang on.
I'm surprised that we have not, bumped into each other in
I know.
life
We
as
may
a
have.
journalist.
We may have. I was doing conventions a lot from like 2009 to 2013.
What's wrong?
Okay, so
I
that
had
would have been
some-
my early, because my first exotic was 2010.
Yeah, we were there at the same time.
Might have crossed paths.
Yeah, we might have bumped into each
Who
other.
knows? You might have had a
I
conversation.
mean, I had a booth with a Batmobile in 2012.
Nice.
Awesome.
Was I there in 2012?
Exotica
2012 was
New
a
Jersey
tough
is
one
so
for me.
awesome. Hi, Jason.
So anyway, the whole story is that I learned so much about the industry and I met so many cool people and I wanted to write about it in like a fiction way. So I started writing a character that kind of like pulled together a lot of the stuff that I thought was most interesting. And then I realized like this should definitely be a comic because it had so many graphic elements. And then I got some like weird sci-fi spins in there. And then there was a talking raccoon. Sooner or later, I had this wild, very long, and very complex story that centers around a porn star. So that's basically it. Did I miss anything?
I don't think you did.
I feel like. Yeah. What's going on? What's that?
Our new air horn.
Is that the timer? Are we out of time?
No, that's the new
You're
air horn.
booted now.
But so is it true that Tracy Queen is actually based on someone real?
Yes, it is. I am not at liberty to reveal this person's identity because they are a private individual. They are not actually a porn star. But this is someone who was really close to me at that time and whose life was like just so over the top and so wild, like the kind of person that would just tell you about their day and you would assume that they were lying, but they weren't. And so I started seeing this person in my mind's eye as sort of like a comic book character, just like larger than life. So I started doing some like concept art and like thinking about what they might look like in a comic book. And then I realized like I've been wanting to write about what I've learned about the porn industry. So I just melded them together into one person who is both taken from this person in my life and also from someone who does
Ooh.
that.
That's awesome. I like how sometimes when people can draw off of inspirations that they've had in their personal life and then bring it into a storyline because it makes it feel more real and more authentic when you're reading it. So I always like to see things like that in different types of media.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think at least when there's like a base plate of a real person behind a character, it gives you more to draw from. And there's all these like little details about real people that you kind of can't make up, like there's all these like little weird things that are just like, but like you can borrow them from real people. It's always good to like make it not obvious that you're like referencing someone for their own privacy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as an artist, how difficult is that when something's based in real life to exaggerate it?
Well, the person that I based Tracy Queen on, it's real easy to exaggerate because, like I said,
she's an exaggeration anyway.
she's got a very big personality,
Yeah.
so it kind of makes it easy to build on that.
How did you feel about having a comic book character based on her?
Oh, she loves it. She's like, oh, that makes so much sense. It's me.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah, she's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I totally would build an army of cyborg clones if somebody came out.
I want to know, what was the concept behind my favorite villain of all time, Dickie Fingers?
Oh, Dickie Double Fingers. Oh gosh. Well, this was Lindsay's invention, so I just was gonna say I love him. He's one of my favorite villains.
Do your Dickie voice.
Dickie Double Fingers. He talks like this. He's like, hey, who is this bitch that she thinks she can cut in on my profits? And he's always got his big fucking huge cigar sticking out of his face. Dickie goddamn Double Fingers. Who do you think? I just love him. He's so good.
I love that.
So the Dickie Double Finger character, it was sort of like So when I was doing all this research and writing so much about porn, the thing that I came to realize is that like, a lot of people in the
You farted.
mainstream, they think that like people who make porn are like out to get us, like that they're like really just bad people, and I think that they get these like images in their head of like dudes from the 70s with like big collars and rings on their fingers and like chest hair everywhere or whatever.
Like the
And
Ron
the
Jeremys
Coke
of
at
the
the tip of
world.
their nose, and
yeah, you know what I mean? Like these people think that there are these guys out there that are literally just like out to destroy the morality of America or something. And I was like, what if I actually just made that a character? Just like the worst, grossest dude that you can imagine. And so I made him real little. I secretly, not secretly at all, hoping that when we get a live action movie, he will be played by Danny DeVito. Danny, if you're out
Nice.
there, please give me a call. Yeah, and I just like poured all of everybody's worst assumptions about the porn industry into this one guy, kind of in the hopes that like it would show how completely ridiculous it is to think that there's one person out there like pulling all the strings and being evil. I hope that comes across. But even if it doesn't, he's a very funny and very terrible human being.
If nothing else, I mean, this character, he is like an exaggerated. He's like throwing all your eggs in one basket of all the stuff you don't want to be. He's super. He's a misogynist. He's racist. He's overbearing. He's mean. He's possessive. He's just all of those things you don't want to be. So it's like a way of just personifying that and being like, look at this guy. Look at how terrible he is.
Yeah.
Look at this. Who not to be as a person.
Yeah.
But also it's kind of just fun. Like it's just fun to be like, oh God, he's the worst.
He really is.
I hate that guy.
Sometimes like if I'm looking over a script that I've written, I like see some of his lines and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I even wrote this down. It's so awful. It's so terrible.
But yet I have so much fun reading it out in his voice.
Yeah, his whole
Sticky goddamn little fingers.
the Kickstarter is still live, correct?
Yeah, we got 7 days left on the Kickstarter,
I
and
just switched over from 8 days to 7 days. I'm not sure where their clock is set, but last time I looked up, it said 8 days. Now it's at 7.
Yes, 7 days.
7 days left. So yeah, we are currently.
Thank you,
I apologize. I don't know. If I turn the speech function off, I'm not going to be able to know what I'm doing on my computer, and I'm getting stupid Facebook updates, so I do apologize.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, we're 186% funded.
Congratulations.
That's
Mazel tov.
fantastic.
And we passed
yeah.
200 backers. So that's our biggest backer number so
That's
far, which means
amazing.
this book is getting into quite a few hands, and we still have a week left to go.
That's awesome.
Yes, I'm actually going to run some numbers. I might actually be buying the high tier package since I can swing it.
Awesome.
You said that you want to try to make this into a live action film one day?
Oh, we really hope
I
so.
hope so. We're thinking Netflix or something, some
Oh, yeah,
streaming
Netflix
platform
or
where we can get away with a little more.
Amazon, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, your boy here does have a production company. Just saying.
Okay.
Yes,
He does.
really does.
Auto and mine, our manager has an amazing production company. We are in pre-production on part 8 of the movie ourselves. So, yeah.
Can we get the elevator pitch for Tornado?
Yeah. Make sure everybody knows.
Are you gonna do that?
That's all you because you're in it. So go for it.
Oh, you're in it. Ooh.
I
Since
am
the star,
Venus
the
Vortex,
lead villain.
the evil space queen that
Yes.
ultimately makes these crazy kind of purple lightning tornadoes that primarily sucks up hot air. So what that's going to be is me like with my sidekick sucking up different hot girls from Exotica. And then basically Evan Stone comes in and he is the guy that saves the day. He's like an ex-storm chaser that, goes in and, wants to chase this big storm that's coming. and comes upon my spaceship where I have a million different sex doll clones, and basically there's a fight scene. He saves the world, and then there's part 2 and part 3 in the works. So
Wait.
The center of it that we're leaving out, but it is just full of absolute craziness. There's a crazy doctor that keeps having flashbacks to a football game that he lost back in his high school teaching days, where he was also the coach, and the team's name was the Gamecocks. So every time that he has a flashback, he's like, I had so many cocks in my face that entire week, I couldn't fucking take it anymore. There were just cocks everywhere. I can't deal with this any longer. So yeah, there's all sorts of just craziness in this film, and it's going to be a lot of fun to make.
So wait, is this a not safe for work film then?
It's like
it's gonna be hard R. There's gonna be titties, but
okay,
there's gonna be implied.
Oh, okay. So it's not actually gonna be like.
I can say
it's not going to be.
Yeah, and we're not gonna like.
Orgasmo?
If Jackass can do it, then we can do it. Like,
sure, okay.
Jackass was, filled with dicks.
Yeah, this new one, that's all it was penises.
Did you guys see it? It was literally just filled with dicks.
Yeah.
It was, it was regular Jackass, but there was a lot more penises involved. Like, they were doing a lot of stuff with, like, just fucking putting, like, their dick and balls in between, like, 2 pieces of plexiglass.
And,
trying to do, the ball, like, with the fucking, what is that called?
What?
Where you have the ball and the string and the paddle ball,
with the penis.
but like with their penis with plexiglass. I was like,
and then like the opening scene is Chris Pontius's penis as a monster, and it's like getting shot by all these things, and then like when the monster dies, it shoots out like a huge load of cum on everybody.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I did not know any of this. I'm adding it
it's
to my
insane.
list right now.
All right, to JL and to Lindsay, since this is your third like you guys have done a lot of Kickstarters.
Yeah.
What do you feel goes into making a successful Kickstarter?
Like everything that you have, like
Planning.
your entire soul.
And planning. Lots of planning. A lot of it. So, something that not everyone realizes about Kickstarter, people think like, oh yeah, you just put your project up on Kickstarter and walk away, and if folks like it, it'll get funded. If they don't, it won't. That's not how any of it works. You have to bring your audience to your Kickstarter campaign, which means you have to build an audience first. If you don't already have an audience, your Kickstarter is going to fail. Yeah. So you have to build your audience, and that could take, depending on the size of your Kickstarter goal, it might take years to build an audience big enough to fund to a certain goal.
Of course, yeah.
And it's years of dedication, years of putting your heart on your sleeve, of being vulnerable, of communicating with these people to make sure they actually like you and what you're doing, and that they understand what you're doing and understand if it's for them or not, And you can't trick people either, because if you are like, oh, this is definitely for you, and then they get into it and it's not for them, they're gonna hate you, So like you have to.
They donated their money, yeah.
Yeah,
I heard it's like a second full-time job, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's a.
It really is. You got to like keep putting out emails and keep putting out social and keep updating your backers and keep like unveiling new things, new stretch goals, new rewards, and to keep it exciting, get people really involved.
You gotta keep, I heard also like there was a lot of people that got in trouble by like promising their backers too much, and then they couldn't, deliver on that once their project was funded.
Oh yeah, that's a huge thing. So also you have to make sure that whatever your goal is, it's enough money that you can actually make what you said you were going to make. Because otherwise people are like, oh yeah, I need $3,000, and they get $3,000, and then it turns out the project is going to cost $6,000. Yeah. Now all these people paid them, and they don't have enough money to get the project done. They're screwed, and all these people are pissed, and that's bad for everyone because it makes people not trust Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's bad for every single person on the platform when someone does that. So like
It's a lot of
what you
budgeting.
have to do is work out the budget, figure out all your expenses, figure out every angle, every single place that there could be a fee or an expense, figure that out ahead of time and make sure that your goal is a little bit more than what you need. Because there's always what I call like the oh shit factor.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the oh shit factor is. It's just, oh shit. You know, like I didn't think of that. So you have to plan for that thing you didn't think of and had it a little bit more. So, you know, we always make sure that we're in the clear. Even if we get a little bit less or some other expense comes up, we still have enough to get what we promised to our backers. And we usually try to do even better. You know, we get to stretch goals and add in other stuff. This is our 12th Kickstarter, and we have backer favorite badge that Kickstarter awarded us with because, you know,
I saw that. That's awesome.
people are happy with us. For 12 Kickstarters in a row, people have remained happy with us as project creators. But I mean, it really takes choosing our fans. If we have to be like, hey, we might have to eat $100 on this or $200, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth not breaking even to make sure that our audience is happy for the long run. You know, people who are like, oh, that's going to cost me $100. I better just not do it. Screw my audience. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see,
get
like,
out of
piss
get
off
out of
your
town.
audience.
You know.
even with us, like on the film that we're working on, like
Yeah.
we have already decided, like, we're probably not going to make a whole bunch of money off of this first one. What we're hoping is we're going to gain the fan base to go into a second, third, and
Sure.
Yeah.
so on movies.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it comes down to budgeting's a lot the same as what you said for a film as well. Like
Oh yeah.
right now we're at like 1.5 million, and like we need to go and get extras because there's unseen things, like what if something happens on set and a car breaks down, we got to go get another one, or so many different aspects that you have to go into, and you got to think of everything, and that goes into any business at all. If you're trying to start it, you have to make sure that you can at least fund yourself to be self-sustainable for a while. Make sure that you plan out for everything, and also the unintended things that may happen down the line, because you never know what could happen. And with your case, like, I don't know if COVID has affected anything that you guys do or not with the pricing.
Everything.
Yeah, because
Everything.
pricing of producing anything has gone up.
Yes.
So
Paper's gone up, printing has gone up, shipping has gone up,
yeah,
gas has gone
Yeah,
up.
it's gone up.
it gets into like a battle with like the budget of like, can I do this? Can I do that? Oh my God, like I just got this notification, this went up in price. Like, so it gets pretty crazy, and anybody that can do it, I tip my hat to them, because I know what it's like, and it is difficult.
Yes, it's very difficult for sure.
It really is a
Excuse
lot
me,
like
Lindsay
putting
and
together-
JL. What kind of rewards do we have here for Tracy Queen's Item 3?
Oh, we have good rewards. I'm actually really excited. We've been wanting to get like toys and stuff of Tracy Queen forever now.
Mhm.
And we finally are making it happen. So on this one, we have like a cube craft toy, which is like a pattern that you can print out or get on like nice paper that you fold together, and it makes a little like paper doll that's actually like 3D. So
Oh yeah, we saw that at Awesome Con.
Yeah.
There was a guy there that made them. Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
cute. And it's got like, she has her battle lingerie on and her armor and everything.
I love that.
And then at a higher level, we have Tracy Queen minifigs. I'm gonna hold one up. I don't know if the camera will really show it totally.
Yeah,
cool.
love that.
I think autofocus is off, so it might
Yeah,
not
it'll
be
be a
able to
little
get.
She's got her sword and her
How
axe.
stoked were you
and-
guys when you saw the finished product in those minifigs?
So stoked. It's awesome. I've been wanting to get these for so long.
Amazon stop.
Yeah, I was kind of like, JL wanted to get them, and I was like, like whatever. But then we actually got it in our hands, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
It's adorable.
But the even cooler thing that we just actually unveiled is that we commissioned a custom Funko Pop of Tracy Queen
Ooh.
that we're going to give away.
Sauce.
We don't have it in hand right now. Like I think that we're getting a box made for it right now, and then it's going to be shipped to us. So I can't show it to you. But at our Kickstarter campaign, you can see pictures of it, and there's like the rules about how to enter the giveaway are all there. So
all you have to do to enter the giveaway, if you're on our Kickstarter campaign, just say in a comment on the campaign that you want the Funko Pop, and that's it. You're entered.
yeah.
And that's for the highest tier.
So the Funko Pop actually is,
We only
it's
have
just
one.
free. It's just a giveaway, and we're going to pick a name out of the hat.
Yeah.
So as long as you just comment that you want it, you're in the,
Yay!
you're
So
entered. Get it for free.
Is Tracy Queen joining Minecraft? Oh, JK.
Yeah, right. We definitely. I mean, she basically looks like it. The CubeCraft toys are
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Going back to live action for a minute, let's say that with Wicked or Evil Angel or some adult company, wanted a crack at Tracy Quinn, would you say yes? And who would you picture playing the lead role?
Huh. That's a really good question. I never actually
I'll leave
really
this
thought
to
about it.
Lindsay because you know a lot more.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that was my fault. I tried to get on TikTok, but it was making really loud sounds. Multitasking, sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm thinking. So this might be, it's kind of a cop-out answer, but if I was going to choose anyone to play Tracy Queen, it would be Asa Akira.
Oh yeah.
She
Nice.
has the look and she has the attitude. Like she and Tracy are very similar in like their personality. So I think that she would be perfect for it. I don't know. I don't know if she's doing hardcore anymore. I know she's like transitioned to
She's
doing
back
a lot
out. I
of.
think the last thing I saw her in was Axel Braun's Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So like I know she's still around and stuff. I don't know if she would be up for it or not, but I just think their personalities are so similar. I think it would be a perfect match.
For sure.
Yeah. And actually, so speaking of live action, there's another thing that we have been wanting to do that we're trying to kind of figure out how to put it together, but we really would like to make Tracy Queen into an audio comic. And I wanted to talk to you about it, Adam, because I know like that's your jam. And we have someone in the chat here who has been working with us on getting some audio comic stuff kind of going. David Geringer, who's in the chat.
David is
What'd you say?
I'm just saying to everyone who's in the chat, thank you very much for tuning in
Yes,
live
thank you
tonight.
very much.
Oh, yeah.
All of you guys can please subscribe to the Awesome Sauce Radio YouTube channel and help us get to 269, because who doesn't love 269s? I would really appreciate that. Really working hard on this channel at the moment. It's what's helped me get through the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So I thank
It
everyone.
looks amazing, by the way. This show is like so well put together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can make that happen. So David actually did a theme song for the Zombie Adoption Program, which is one of our ongoing free stories. He did the theme song for Mr. Guy's Zombie Hunter, which is like my favorite song ever in the history of music. He did the theme song for our comic Pack, and he's working currently on the theme song for Tracy Queen. He also did the first chapter of Mr. Guy Zombie Hunter as an audio comic. And we're trying to work with him on figuring out how to make audio comics a sustainable part of our business for enhanced accessibility.
Right.
So,
as someone who's sight impaired, I want to say thank you.
Yes, it is important.
As someone who's losing their sight, has been fighting blindness for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything that helps keep comic books accessible to me.
Yeah.
It is and always will be my first love. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
so what does that entail? That would be like you would have to find a speaker for each individual character.
Voice actors for every
Things
character.
like that. Are you guys gonna like be
narrator.
specific, like pick somebody that you think like has the voice vibe?
So actually, David works with a whole plethora of voice actors. He works with Next Arc Studios. They do a lot of audio work. He has a whole bunch of voice actors, and we can also get other people in on it. Like, if we need someone for this specific character and we don't know who, we can always do casting. Oh yeah, Autumn, are you doing voice acting work?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, I would, 100%.
Awesome. So
That would be so
Yeah.
fun. I haven't
That would be
done
sweet.
that. But I
So
would.
yeah, and then the other thing is David also does cool like soundscaping, and that's like building out the scenery with sound effects and subtle things
I love
like
that. Yeah.
background, wild sound, that kind of stuff, and then also music. So like I said, David did the Mr. Guy theme song. So when he's doing the audio comic, the theme song starts to play in different parts, or like different parts of the song rise in. And since he's the actual song creator, he can take the various tracks, switch out the instruments, and do all kinds of really interesting production.
Yeah, really
like that.
make it like a produced
So,
experience.
Yeah, and we're trying to figure out how to make that something that doesn't hurt us to do it
Yeah, something that
financially,
can pay for
right?
itself.
Like something that
That's
can
right.
at least be sustainable.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think,
like our next goal.
Yeah,
Like I
because you
said,
take that
I'll
to
put my thoughts to it,
Spotify.
and I'll email you guys and what I think would
Oh, yeah.
work in that department.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
we've been wanting to do this kind of stuff, and like you were basically saying, Autumn, like it's expensive. We have to figure out how to get the funding, and whether there's going to be a big enough audience to really, be capable of sustaining it. But it's something that we've been talking about doing for a while, and we're really like. We did an audiobook of a book that I recently wrote, and it's like, that's pretty simple. You have one person basically doing the recording, and then you have somebody edit it, and you have somebody produce it, and that's pretty much a done deal. But for a comic book that we want to do all the soundscaping for, there's so much more that goes into it. So
And Lindsay also has a book on Audible called Watching Porn about her porn journalism days, which is amazing.
thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was super fun. I got to read that for the audiobook, and it was such a cool experience to be like, I wrote a book, and yeah, they want me to read it. It felt very fancy.
That's so
Autumn, I feel like you were about to say something a few minutes ago. Did we?
No,
We missed it?
I was gonna say? No, I was just reading in the chat. Mojo
Okay.
said,
Gotcha.
"You finally got me here from drunk chat. I had to come
Oh.
see why Lucas is scared to be on your show. Is Lucas scared to be on our show? Adam,
The water's fine. Come on in.
We're
Thank
nice.
you for
We
joining
only
the
bite if
show.
you ask.
we're polite.
Lucas should be here soon.
We're just
And-
as a
That's how that
adult.
rolls.
channel.
So, were you guys going to like any cons or
Jace.
to Exotica or anything like that with the comic?
Well, right now, most of our convention stuff is on hold. I am immune compromised, so we're still trying to be pretty safe about COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And we moved from New York to Montana a few years ago to get our business going.
Okay.
It is a lot easier to start a business in
Right.
Montana.
I have to time out. I'll be right back.
Bye. So it's a lot harder for us to get to conventions these days, basically. We can't just like hop on the commuter train down to New Jersey. It's like a whole undertaking.
Yeah.
So
Now, and you said that you moved to Montana to start your business because it's way easier. I've noticed that there's a lot of YouTubers that have been making the exit from LA and heading to like Colorado, Montana, like places in the Midwest. So is it much easier for you to do things there? Because I was always wondering why everybody was making like a big exodus from, California and heading into the Midwest. I was like, what's so great about the Midwest? So, like, how much easier is it to start a business and get things going where you're at now?
Well, part of it might just be accessibility. It's like, oh, I would love to live, in the Rockies, but what the heck can I do in the Rockies for work? And now it's like, hey, you can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Might as well pick the most beautiful place you can think of. Oh, cool, I'm going to go to the Rockies,
Yeah.
Some of it's that. I think. And then also some of it is like, especially, in light of the pandemic, like things like that. I think it's just like a lot of folks just don't want to be in crowded areas, and just don't want to be in coastal cities. And
How much of an adjustment was it from New York City to Montana?
there was some culture shock for sure, but we also got so deeply plunged into work so quickly that a lot of it we just
worked our way
didn't
through
notice,
it.
It's always good.
Now, I know, like, because we live in the mountains ourselves in Maryland. We're in Western Maryland, like wood
nice.
sticks. So we noticed here that people are way more prudish, I should say, when it comes towards, like, any type of sex work or anything to do with sexuality at all. Do you feel like it's that same type of way where you are, or have you experienced that?
So, I mean, Montana's very interesting because, like, there's a lot of areas that are very strongly one way, and then areas that are very strongly another way, and some of them are very close to each other. We're in Missoula.
Across the street, it's a different vibe.
Yeah, I mean, Missoula is like the most liberal city in Montana. And there's a few other liberal cities, but then there's also some really, really conservative cities. But even the conservative ones are largely libertarian. So, like, they're still largely like, oh,
do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Just stay away from me about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, kind of. There's a lot of.
It's weird. It's a mixed bag.
I wish it was like, yeah.
How do we, as a community, get more sex positive and just get rid of this bullshit stigma about sex?
Bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. Like, I have a freaking sticker on the back of my car that says Pornhub casting car, and it's like a fucking like a minivan, Dodge minivan, and it says Pornhub casting car, and you would not know how many people laugh and take fucking screenshots of the back of my minivan.
It's
just
a minivan.
It says Pornhub casting card. Like, they're shook. They're 100% shocked.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. You're like, calm down. It's my freaking car.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a joke. I got this sticker from a boho shop in Ocean City, and you're over here looking at me like I'm crazy. And I was like, I have one sticker that says Autumn South. The other one says, I'm a porn star. I make home videos. Like, on the back of my minivan. Did you like that? I have my kids inside of, and they're like looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I just feel like, personally for me, and sorry if there's any Christians out there watching, but I feel like Christianity and religion was so ingrained into, at least in this area, and I know a lot of other areas, have been ingrained into our heads of telling us how to think and what is right and what is wrong, that we are, trained to believe a made-up narrative that came from a book that's thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, that we don't even know if it's the true words in there or not. So I think that has a lot to do with it, where it's still these people are like, they're uncomfortable to break out of their shell because they were told as kids, like, this is bad, this is wrong, you can't do this or you're going to burn in hell. I'm like, really? Like, do we even know if that's real?
Every time we talk about this, it seems to get to religion with you.
It's interesting, though,
I was told from the powers that be that not to touch on religious stuff, but there is truth in what the manager is saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Any empire,
like
for as long as history, there's always these breeding laws, right? And breeding laws are always say in any empire throughout history, throughout the planet, breeding laws come down to anything that doesn't lead to procreation is illegal or immoral or evil. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is to grow your empire. The only reason people are taught that anything other than procreation is immoral is so that your army can be bigger than the other people's army and we can win.
Right.
That is the
Exactly.
only reason.
Yeah.
Is mass murder.
It's also a means of control. If you can control the way that people use their bodies and control the way they think about one of the most primal drives, then you're in control, baby. You have the reins. And
Right, but that's
Yeah. And I mean, it's like,
that control is growth. You know,
and
The thing
and
is, people
honestly,
don't-
using your body is
Right?
using your body. And
Yeah.
whenever I tell people, they're like, "Oh, you use your body to do this." I'm like, "Do you not use your body whenever you're doing your work? Like,
if you're
you-
stacking boxes, you're
yeah,
using your
you're
body.
stacking
You're
boxes.
selling your
using
body.
You're
If you
flipping those
are-
burgers.
Yep.
You're using your body. Just because I
Yeah.
use my different parts of my
Well,
body
and isn't
and
it
you
funny?
do doesn't
Like-
mean we're not doing the exact same
Right,
thing."
and isn't it hilarious how like we culturally look up to actors who are lauded for their
Performing
beauty and
and using
performing
their body.
and using their body,
Yeah.
and athletes
Using their
Yeah.
body, getting tackled into the ground by other football
Like,
players.
using
If that's
their
not
body,
using your
like,
body,
literally
Come on.
harming their body.
Yeah.
they're actually harming themselves.
And then there's the whole like
Boxers?
everybody's
What?
against
And we're
sex
giving
work.
them millions,
Millions.
People that are against sex work, like they don't realize that some of these scenes that they shoot in Hollywood actually have real sex in them. It's just they get the parts cut out so you don't see it.
Yep.
Right.
I've read a lot of different like.
This is
things
what
where-
bothers me. Well, how come it's okay to show someone getting chopped at the bits and pieces in a movie, but the minute you show
Yeah,
a pair of
But you
titties,
can't show an
Thank you,
intimate
yes.
like. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
That's-
no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
tell you what I really think. The one thing is, people love sex. People love boobs. People love whatever it is they love, like whatever their orientation. People love what they're interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the only way you feel like it's okay to see those things or to get those things is fornication for the purpose of making a baby, you're gonna make a lot of babies.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that are like morally, religiously correct and have like 12 kids? You know what I mean? It's
Our next door
like-
neighbor to our Mormon.
Yeah, like the
What
only
the heck?
time I'm ever gonna have sex is to make
is to make a
baby.
kid. Yeah,
It's
then you're
like-
gonna end up
Yes.
making a lot of kids because
Exactly.
people love sex.
Yeah.
That's how that works. That's the.
But that's the
purpose.
thing
the
though,
only
it's like it's gonna be different than that. And like my kids, I'm like, look, I rather teach you about sex earlier than later.
Yeah.
Like, so you're not sitting here wondering and guessing like I was with my parents. And I'm gonna tell you what it's all about, so that way you understand whenever it happens.
Right.
Not
And
this
I
let's
whole,
give it a
like,
textbook and
you
said
shall
was
not.
told good luck.
Yeah.
know. I think that's a really good move because you're empowering them to make informed decisions instead of just being out there in the
Exactly.
world getting possibly taken advantage of because they don't know what's
Exactly.
going on.
And then
That
you
also-
have
also goes into like they'll be ashamed of their bodies and stuff too because they're told from a young age that like no, your body's bad, like you can't
Right.
Yeah.
do this
Yeah.
or like whatever, like even if it goes in a form of like they want to explore their bodies, like and you catch them or something and you scold them and you're like no, that's
Oh, yeah.
horrible. Why would you do that?
Mhm.
Like that was if that ever happened to me when I was younger, I'd be scarred. Like so I know like
yeah, we act like you weren't like,
Yeah.
11, 12 years old, like kind
so,
like touching your pussy, wondering
Figuring
what was
stuff out,
going
right?
on.
yeah, so I'm like
You know what I
I'm
mean?
like, with me, it's like if I ever walk in on my kid and I see that, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry I interrupted you and I'm going to leave. And then if they want to have a conversation about what happened, I'll be like, look, it's normal.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. But all these people that are like, this is wrong, this is bad, like they're creating a freaking just continuation of body shaming and people not being comfortable with themselves and their own skin, thinking that their parts are wrong, thinking that sex is wrong. Like it blows my mind. I'm like, we're living in 2020 fucking 2. Like, come on now. Like,
Well, and going back to what Adam said, the thing is like we have normalized violence to such a degree
Yeah.
that like you can play a video game, you can watch a movie, whatever, where like horrible things are happening and
people
people
do
are in pain and
Terrible
being
things to
hurt.
each other.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. But if you show a body experiencing pleasure instead of pain, that's bad somehow.
People
And to
lose
me,
their
that just doesn't make it.
minds.
Yeah. It's like almost, it's like,
It's like they don't want you to have fun.
no, like, you know how whenever you were younger and like you were watching movies with your parents and there was like some weird kind of sexual scene in it and it like kind of made you uncomfortable because you were watching it with your parents?
Yeah.
Like, was that me or did everybody
Oh
do
no!
that?
And they started like clearing their
And
throats
you'd be like,
a lot.
Yeah, like your parents
Yeah.
are with you, so you're kind of like, I'm uncomfortable because they're with me and I don't want to watch it because
I'm
my
not when I was
parents are
being
here.
yelled at to stop being disgusting and
Yeah,
and
it's
do that
like-
stuff.
It's like that vibe that should not exist. Like, no one should feel that way.
Yeah.
For me, like, I feel like no one should ever have that feeling. You guys should be able to watch that shit together and nobody feel awkward
Yeah.
about
Not
the
be
whole
weird.
situation.
And the whole, like, going back to the whole education thing, like Autumn said about educating them sooner than later, I've noticed, like, our children are in the 5th grade right now, and they come home and tell us the most, like, crazy shit. I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? Like, you're in the 5th grade. Like, who knows about this stuff?
Yeah, talking about pansexual, bisexual,
And,
like
like,
girl
Yeah,
stuff.
they're
In
like,
the 5th
"Oh,
grade?
I made out with this person." I'm like, okay, that shit never happened in the 5th grade when I was there.
Yeah,
Like,
my daughter's like, I'm pansexual. I'm like, do you even know what that shit means?
yeah.
Like, how can like,
Yeah, we told her, we was like, we don't care if you are one thing or the other. We are going to support you on whatever you decide that you are and whatever you feel that you are. But we also wanted to tell her, like, we're sitting down and educating her, and we're like, you don't even know at this age what sexuality is yet. So you can't go and watch, like, videos on TikTok or videos on YouTube that are saying, you have a feeling that's this way. You think a girl's pretty. Well, you must be a lesbian. Or you think guys and girls and everyone is pretty, so you're a pan or you're bi or vice versa. Like, we're trying to explain this, like, at the age that you are now and you're starting to go into puberty, you're going to have all sorts of crazy shit going through your head that you don't understand yet. And you got to, wiggle your way through all those things to eventually find out what you are and what you're going to be.
exactly.
And so, yeah, with that stuff, like, I 100% feel that educating children earlier is going to be way more helpful than hiding it, because the stuff that I've heard so far, just coming from our kids when they come home from school, I'm like, I didn't deal with that stuff until I was like in high school. Like, what the hell is going on? So,
100%.
Yeah.
And they're going to get it anyway. They might as well get it with an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
from
Oh
people.
yeah, because there was whatever I
You
was
know?
watching on TikTok, there was a girl that she was like a sex educator, and she was saying how the school systems and stuff, they don't even have to, when it comes to sex education, the information that they give you doesn't even have to be like factual.
Yeah, I
It
think
just,
it's only,
they can pretty much say whatever the hell they want to
It's the
say.
American public school system.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going like, how can you not give factual information about something
when
that
I was
is?
in school, it was just don't have sex. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
like, it was
Don't
abstinence.
fornicate. Like,
Yeah.
I know. I was told use a condom. Here's a textbook. Go figure it out in the yard just like everyone else did. Bye
That's
bye.
what I got. So,
ours was like, don't touch us there. This is my no-no
Yeah.
square. Like,
Excuse me, back
You
to
have a square?
yeah, it was like,
yeah,
don't
that's what we
touch
call
me
it,
there.
no-no square.
The no-no square.
So
the
basically,
no square.
It's like
That's
from
down to the
here,
area.
you know.
Oh, okay. All right. That
Don't
makes
touch
more
me
sense.
there. It's my no-no square. I'm like,
Oh my god. They made us
Excuse me,
watch
Lindsay
a
in jail.
video. Oh, yeah.
How do you? I know I was watching a couple of your little things on YouTube. How do you feel we create more characters like Tracy Queen that are sex positive and paint sex worker superheroes in a more positive light?
Good question.
So I think an important thing is, one thing we don't really see enough of is just representation of different people with like different jobs being people. Like just because someone's a sex worker doesn't mean
That's the
they
only
can't
thing.
also be, the hero of this story, or like if the hero of this story can be an employee at Walmart, the hero of this story can be a sex worker
There are
or
heroes at
anything
Walmart?
else.
There's girls at Walmart.
So it's like just representation.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like the thing that like we kind of have come up against a few times is that if you say that the character of your story is a sex worker, then people assume that's it. That's the entire story,
That's
and there's like
all they are
nothing
as a
else
person.
going on in their life.
Yeah.
And the thing that I tried to do with Tracy Queen is show that like there's a lot more going on in her story.
Exactly.
But-
like she's not a chick that just wants to fuck people because that's
all the time.
That's the only thing workers want to do. That's all they want to do
Mhm.
is fuck 24/7.
And people
And
forget
that's
that we're
what everybody
human
thinks they
beings
like to
with
do. Regardless.
everything else too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think especially like particularly for women, it's become like we've been led to believe that women who like sex are inherently dangerous and therefore they must be put in this separate category that is bad and scary and like not fully human, because if we recognize that people who do sex work are people that have full, rich, interesting lives, then that feels like threatening to the social order or something. But all the people I've known who do sex work are just people that like just like anybody else, and their job looks a little different than mine does or than his does or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I tried to bring that humanity to Tracy Queen and like give her a full life. And of course her life also involves like a talking raccoon and cyborg clones, because that's the nature of the story. It's like wild and over the top.
Yeah, but who doesn't want a talking raccoon? I would take, if I could get one of those, I'd have it as a pet in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right.
Brains,
So, like-
vibe. Yes.
I think that we need to like humanize the experience of people who do sex work and like talk about them like they're more than just that job, and let them especially speak for themselves.
Of course.
Like I think that
because
that's
it's
the thing that
yeah. And so
that's the thing
somebody
that's
has to
changed
speak for
most.
us, because the only thing we like to do is just have sex all the time.
You
And
don't-
that means, since I'm a sex worker, I'm willing and open to have sex with pretty much anybody. It's like,
Or
I
you
does
don't
that
have
work?
an opinion on anything. That's the big one.
it's go get a real job. It's like,
I wish I had $1 for every time I heard that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I get the message all the time. How can you let your partner do that? And I'm like, excuse me, but first of all, if you're in a relationship and you're thinking in that manner, like I feel sorry for that woman.
yeah.
Because like
He
that's
let
not-
me do
I
that.
don't let her do anything. Like we have an informed discussion about everything between us, and then we come to an agreement as a couple. Like
Exactly. You're not
50-50
letting me
all
do
the
it.
way. Like I don't understand how it's like. you
It's
let
only
her do it.
one-sided.
I'm
Like,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She's not my property. I can't,
yeah,
like,
you act like we didn't have a normal conversation about
Yeah, it's like you
it
can't.
before.
People can't fathom that
Excuse
we-
me, I wanted to show something to everyone on the dais. If the producers in the back can show the Project Pegasus picture now. I thank Eric Hurd for creating this. Eric Hurd is an awesome artist. Love you, brother.
Yes.
This is for an
Pegasus.
upcoming project called Project Pegasus, where Blind Adam gets pegged.
Yes.
And I just want to know what you think of the artwork.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Now I'm just hoping that we can get the
I mean,
actress whose likenesses we're using at the moment, or the concept art. On board.
if not, you can put me on a unicorn, okay?
Yeah, I don't see a link or anything.
You can
There's
you
no
can
link
change
at the
the
moment.
picture
Yeah.
to me if you want, Adam. Fuck
What's
it.
that?
I said, if all else fails, you can change that picture to me. I got you.
Amazon stop.
I've been
Is it supposed to pop up on the screen or a link or something? Because we don't have it.
Yeah. I've been trying to peg somebody for the longest time, but I haven't.
No, basically, I'm doing
I told
something
you
to
yes,
honor a
but
friend who
she's not on
passed.
camera.
So
Actually, should I look this way? Is this looking at you?
No, you're looking in the complete opposite direction.
No, that's working.
That's
Oh
fine.
wait, yeah, sorry, mirrored.
Yeah. I've been trying to peg somebody forever,
yeah,
and they won't let
yeah,
me.
I love how you're talking to the wall right now.
anyway, it's just been hanging out with a blind person too long. It's done. I do it all the time.
Shut up. Oh my god.
So, JL and Lindsay, what advice would you give to someone wanting to create a comic book and just getting started?
well, if someone's just getting started, my advice would honestly be make a lot of short comic books, get into anthologies with 8-page comics.
Or shorter.
Each comic you do, you're going to learn from about what you wish you didn't do. When you see it in print for the first time, you're going to be like, oh, this is very different than what I was thinking. There's going to be things you love that you wish you did more of, and things you don't love that you wish you did less of. So shorter pieces, you can do them much quicker. You can increase your learning curve dramatically by just doing many shorter pieces. That's my biggest advice for anyone who wants to get into comic books is to
Now, like what you guys are talking about, like the more of and the less of, is that like with the dialogue, like the, images, like the artwork? What is that?
So like less really what I would do is try to figure out like a short comic would be like an 8-page comic.
Okay.
Right? And maybe you have like an average of like 6 panels per page.
Okay.
And maybe an average of like a sentence or 2 per panel. Right? That's a really good length. And I think a lot of first-time mistakes are like, I'm going to write this 192-page book with 12 panels on each page and 8 lines of dialogue on each panel. And it's like, it's an epic that takes 10 years to find out that you did it wrong. Like you don't want to take 10 years to find out
like
you're doing it wrong.
condensing a full story, how to condense that into a shorter, more full like moment.
A moment, a little vignette, a little short, a little like, like a little, just a moment. And I think you can do a lot
being
of
like a full,
What advice would you have for someone who has an awesome story, but they are really horrible at drawing? Like, how could they get, make a comic book if they don't have any talent as an artist, but they're a really good writer?
What I do. Go on Model Mayhem and meet an artist.
This is wrong. Don't listen to her. This is bad advice. I do not condone this.
No, just
so basically, if you have strengths as a writer or strengths as an artist, and you're weak in the other area, best way to find a collaborator.
So, I think the best way to find a visual artist to work on your comic, is as someone who's going to like sit there and do the drawing. That's the bulk of the work. That's going to take the most amount of time.
Way longer than you think.
The writing, like I could write several 8-page scripts in the amount of time that I could draw one panel on one page.
True.
That has 6 panels, right?
I don't know.
I mean, they might not be the best 8-page scripts, but I could do it. I could bang out an 8-page script in a night if I was really hard pressed. I could not finish a comic page in a night.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, if you're looking for the artist to do that part of the comic, I would just say make sure that you understand that and that you respect that and that you're willing to be like, hey, I might need to pick up an extra job or 2 to pay this person.
Exactly. But like it almost has to be like somebody that understands the story enough to like because you think of it in your head, you're like, this is how it's supposed to be, but whenever it gets on paper, it's something completely different.
We've had that so many times. Like, we've hired artists from Fiverr to draw characters of her that we were going to put on like t-shirts and stuff, and we would explain like the concept and how we wanted it, and it just seemed like
it's so hard to come up
every single time on like
Honestly, I talk about this a lot with writers. I think the biggest thing is look at people's portfolios and don't expect someone to be able to do something that's not in their portfolio.
Yeah.
True.
So there's also, like, especially for comics, there are a lot of places on social media and on like art portfolio sites like DeviantArt, or I mean, God, there's so many these days. I don't even
So
know.
many Facebook groups.
ArtStation, that kind of stuff, where people hang out who do comic book art, and you can talk to them, get to know their style, look at their portfolio, and find the person that really like speaks to your vision. And also on the writing side, like as someone who does primarily writing, there's a lot of like shorthand that you can use in a comic book script that can help people, that can help your artist understand what you're going for. You can provide like reference images for whatever the thing is that you're looking to create. And there's, different ways of pitching, different ways of writing, and different ways of basically putting together like a whole package so that your artist has all of this stuff available and can have a clearer idea of what you're looking for. And then as long as you understand their style, there's like a better chance that those things are going to marry well.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up with something that looks like what you were imagining. But on that topic, like when I was first imagining Tracy Queen, I had a totally different art style in mind than what JL does. But at that time, I had no experience with making comics. I didn't know where to start. And he, was the first artist that said, like, hey, I want to work on this with you. So it was a really interesting experience to see, like, him start working on it in his style, which was so different from what I had in mind. But it ended up being really cool because, like, instead of it just being specifically my vision, it was so much more of a collaboration. And, like, getting used to that process, I think, has been really good for me as a creator because it's taught me to work on a team. And then, like, the end result may not be what I saw in my head, but it's going to be this, like, much bigger and, like, richer.
Yeah, it's more inspiring. And then it becomes like you have somebody else to bounce your ideas off of. Like, that's how him and I are whenever it comes to, like, oh, I have this idea. And I'm like, oh, let's make it better by doing this, this, and this. And then he comes up with an even better concept. You know? It's like a back and forth collab situation where you just get inspired by the other person giving you their ideas through their brain or whatever. You know what I mean?
That's ideal, I think, actually. It's like really, one of the worst things that can happen is when you feel like your job is to backseat drive someone else to do the thing that you have in your head but don't have the physical skills to do, or haven't worked out the skill to be able to do, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you end up backseat driving and micromanaging and pissing someone off and then feeling bad about it, and then they're pissed at you and you're pissed at yourself and you still didn't get what you wanted. Whereas, like, if you were just like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, how would you do it? And then they show you something that you never would have thought of, and it's different than what you were thinking, but now it's like your idea plus their idea. And now it creates this whole new beast,
and honestly, it makes you a better
I think this is where
creator.
I get a little bit of the heads up because I for my entire life I've had to describe people what's in my head. I just need you to be my eyes.
Like, whatever you hear could look different in your mind compared to what is actually there. It's like reading a book. You envision it to be something different, and then they go on and make a fucking movie and ruin the whole thing. You know what I mean?
So I think, Adam, how do you feel about, like, the idea that sometimes, you might be describing something that's in your head and someone might take it a different way or a different direction or not quite get what you're describing?
Sometimes it's just like I have to, like, just make little compromises. Be like, that's not exactly what I wanted. This is what I was talking about.
Sure.
And for example, when I was coming up with the whole concept for Project Pegasus, as far as concept art to put on shirts and whatnot, the only thing where we really had to have a conversation was more towards the lettering of the actual Awesome Sauce Radio and Project Pegasus. everything else, I was like, yeah, I just wanted a horse, a hot girl on a horse who had to look like Katie Morgan because Katie Morgan's the bomb. You know, and just being open and being honest and knowing that one hand has to wash the other in order to make things work.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's also like, learning to sort of roll with those punches and like advocate for your own vision, but also be accepting that you're not the one putting in this work. So, what you get back, you get back.
Yeah.
Finding a middle ground there is, I think, like it makes you a stronger creator to be able to collaborate and to make compromises with people, and you end up being someone that people then want to work with in the future because they know that you're not going to throw a shit fit if like this person's hand isn't in the right position.
I mean, and not to mention, right, like there's also something to be said for if your project that you've written has to come out in a very specific way, in a very specific style for it to make sense, maybe it's not making enough sense. Like there should be some elasticity to your idea about what you think it's going to come out like, right? There should be some elasticity to that. And if 5 different artists can't do it and still get a good result, then
maybe you need to rethink the concept a little bit.
So one thing that I've been doing, which I've really been enjoying so much, is our comic series, Mr. Guy, Zombie Hunter. It's a comedy, really funny, I think. Mr. Guy, every 8 pages is illustrated by a different artist.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's a lot of different styles. And one thing it's showing is that all these people are different. They're different people. They have different personalities. So their art is different. And it comes out a little different every time. And the story is wonderful, regardless of who's working on it, because all of these people are having fun with it. And I'm giving them freedom. And I'm saying, draw this in your style, have fun. And I have these artists are like writing to me like, oh man, this is great. I'm having so much fun with this. What do you think of this? And I'm like, absolutely, go for it. That's great. I'm so glad you put that in there, And it's become this really fun collaborative project with all of these different people have contributed to this one character now.
That's awesome.
And it's just so much fun. It's wonderful,
Where can my audience find you guys on?
Oneshi Press, pretty much everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Oneshi Press, one word, ONESHIPRESS. And we're also oneshipress.com. ONESHIPRESS.com.
And once again, Tracy Queen, the Kickstarter has 7 days left.
Yeah, it's wrapping up on May 5th, and that evening we're going to be doing a live stream on Twitch where we're going to be giving away the Tracy Queen Funko Pops. So join us.
Right. Can I actually ask one question real quick? Is anyone here a Star Trek fan? Has anyone here enjoyed Star Trek?
Yes,
okay,
all right. We should have been talking about Star Trek this whole time.
Has anyone here ever thought that Autumn South would make the perfect Kira Nerys, Nana Visitor from Deep Space Nine? Can you please cosplay as Kira Nerys and just send me a picture? I'll give you signed copies of every one of our books for that.
I have such a crush on Kira Nerys.
Done.
I need to see Autumn as Kira Nerys. That's just
are you guys watching Picard?
Sorry, I know that totally.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites.
I'll start a change.org petition to make it happen.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yes.
Also, I just want to show you guys
this. Is the other toy that we forgot to mention.
This super, I don't know if you can see it too well. My webcam isn't really auto-focusing, but check this out. This is
Tracy Queen.
super duper freaking articulate.
Look how flexible
she is.
I love that.
And she's super flexible. She's got very squishy flesh.
Skin?
I need those for you.
Yeah, that's what type of
very realistic. And this is also part of our Kickstarter.
Yeah, this
That's
is available.
So you can get your own hyper-realistic Tracy Queen minifigure, mini toy, whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
action figure.
Yes.
I just, I've been wanting to show that off too.
That's the most
I might need to
articulated
reach out to
figure
you guys
I've
to see
ever
what
witnessed.
company made that.
Where did you get those made at?
So I actually just modified one that I found online that I was like, wow.
Giving away our secrets.
Shh.
We'll
I
DM
need
you.
those trade
Yeah,
secrets.
we'll DM you.
Yeah.
Gotta watch it because that's gotta put the Kaiser King Mafia on your
Right.
trail.
Yeah. Yeah, don't piss off the Kaiser King, folks.
Yep. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on.
Oh, it was so much
I
fun.
want to thank
Thank
you
you.
guys
Thank
for
you all. Yeah.
Yes, thank
being
you.
guests,
This
and
was
I
a
want to
really
thank you
good
guys for all the
conversation.
friendship and support outside.
Yeah. Yeah, this was really a good conversation. It's awesome to talk to people that are so like-minded about this kind of
Of
stuff.
course, yeah. 100%.
Well,
Are
you
you
have an
guys
open
doing
invitation,
Exotica this year?
No, they said they weren't because of some issues.
Yeah,
with
but hopefully someday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yes, of course.
Like I said, maybe in 2023 we can have you be
2023
part of the
for
Awesome
sure,
Sauce Media booth at Exotica if you want.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could sell some
You have an
Tracy
open
Queen.
invitation, Albert. Awesome Sauce Media can help you guys out, man. I'm here
Yep.
for you.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Of course, yeah.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, everybody, please have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank you for
coming on.
joining us.
Yep.
Have a good night, you guys.
Too.
Bye.
Check out everything from Anishi Press. They were awesome. I guess Lucas decided to boycott the show tonight.
Oh, no.
Did you guys have another guest planned that ditched you?
No, our another co-host who comes and does a market report.
He does, but where is Chitlins?
He decided to not show.
Chitlins called Chitlins.
You didn't mean the Chitlins call.
Yep. If not, we can have you guys sit down for a few minutes to talk some Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this client. He makes Star Trek toys, and I just figured out, he was like, I make toys, and I was like, really? What toys do you make? He's like, Star Trek toys. Because I was trying to find the hookup for Tornado toys because we're interested in making those, and he just so happened to send me a payment through his personal LLC, and I was like, where do you work? He's like, I make toys for a living, and I was like, oh shit, what do you make, sir? He's like, Star Trek toys.
That's so cool.
Funny thing, since you do, comics that are erotic in nature, the person who's behind this whole thing, Rob, he's like the mastermind of Tornado. He was kind of wanting to do a comic of the movie. So maybe we could get together and talk and see if we can make that happen.
100%. We should.
Sure. I mean, at the very least, we could definitely, we have resources and we can let you guys know how we do what and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, we're always happy to share what we know and, extend whatever we can.
Yeah, we know a lot of artists too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm super excited for the radio show that's going to be going on in New Jersey. It's going to be freaking awesome. I have this vision of it that's going to be, oh my God. Adam, you're going to have a hell of a time at New Jersey this year.
Because we're going to go ahead and we are going to interview every single Tornado person there.
Great. Awesome.
So we got Joanna, we got Evan, Katie, who else? We have
Maya.
Eden, Maya, everybody. We're just gonna bring them all. We're gonna come over to our booth.
My plan is when we're interviewing them, we're going to be like, would you like to be a part of Project Pegasus? There you go. I mean, if we set it up, you're bound to get pegged at Exotica, man.
I mean,
Just saying.
A dream will come true. Awesome to the sauce.
So I have a question for you, Adam. Where did this whole "I want to get pegged" thing stem from?
Well, let's see. I don't think I've ever revealed this part on the podcast before. Back in last fall, I had 2 losses. One of my best friends in and out of the industry, Raven Bay, passed away. I just want to do something to honor her that would have been crazy, and she would have enjoyed watching herself. And maybe I can just.
Did you want her to peg you
honor her
first?
memory that I would like and she would like, and I almost got kicked out of my own family for Raven. Basically, I put this big video up of Taylor Swift style. How I wanted Raven to. I was going to have sex with Raven at Exotica, and I was going to conquer the world. And every person in the blind community said that blind people can't be porn stars. We're going to pay. And I put it on my personal Facebook page, like a jackass.
Whoa.
Man.
And then because I was still learning how to use the internet with blind technology. And then my aunt saw it, and she called my mom. And I was at my friend's pizzeria.
Well, Rob said that Raven sent him to me at Exotica. That's what his words were. He said, I felt like Raven was sending me to your booth whenever I was there. So, if all else fails, I got your back.
Literally.
Yeah, I loved her very much. She was one of my best friends, and
I know. That's what I was talking to Rob. He was like, I feel like Raven just sent you to me whenever I was there. Like she was there leading me towards your booth, and I just felt like she would have.
That's only the first part of this little tale.
Yeah.
The second tale is I had a good friend of mine from high school where her 14-year-old niece was being bullied for being queer or a lesbian, and she hung herself.
Oh shit!
And basically, I figured the dumb fat blind clown can give his anal virginity to a porn star and make some money, and then take some of that money to raise awareness of high school of how being a bully hurts and getting bullied hurts, and that no one should give 2 shits what anyone's orientation is. We're all human beings.
Exactly. Bullying in general, whether it's with your orientation or not, just fucking sucks in general. Bullying is the most stupid
I just want to
thing.
do something to, so all of a sudden I was right.
We were all bullied.
I was walking around stoned at Exotica. And the idea just popped into my head, and I went to a very shitty hotel room that night. And because I couldn't get my first choice of hotels that last year. And wrote the whole thing down in about 5 minutes. I was like, boom, 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 boom. And I've been on this trail ever since.
You touched on something that I think would be a good thing to do, just in general, like even with non-porn creators or just creators in general, like speak out more about bullying and making fun of people's orientations, or even like the whole thing now with like people and their pronouns, like. Why do you care what people want to be called?
Yeah.
Like, why would you bully somebody?
Right? Yeah.
Like, why would you bully someone because they want to be called something that you're not comfortable with?
Yeah.
Like, they have the freedom to do that, and you, as a normal, decent human being, should respect their wishes and just go along with it. It's not harming you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
why would you?
I mean, being bullied in the first place is always boils down to somebody being uncomfortable with the way you look, talk, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the whole
The
you
uncomfort
get
in
bullied
their-
because they like you. Like, they like you. That's why they bully you. Like,
That's an odd fucking
really,
way to
because
do it.
they're, but boys were also taught that shit whenever they were younger. Like, be fucking mean to her, that,
Oh, you mean like the whole like, oh, I'm gonna pull this girl's hair because I think she's cute. But then,
yeah, like that whole situation. So,
Yeah, that's just-
now girls are like, oh, they bully me because they think that I'm cute. Like,
I don't
that's a whole, like,
It's a whole other thing.
abuse situation, futural kind of like mishap.
So I see your flag there in the or your banner in the background. So what is your outlook and opinion on that whole spectrum of bullying for either their sexuality or
I think it's pretty simple, really. Like, regardless of how someone identifies or their orientation, those are just facts about somebody. Like, I have hazel eyes, I have brown hair. Those are facts about me. They have nothing to do with anything. It's just who I am. It's how I was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being a bully, that's a fucking character flaw. Being a bigot, that's a fucking character flaw. Not being able to, like, make someone else feel okay about who they are, not being able to make space for other people's differences, those are fucking character flaws.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
I feel like actually most bullying comes back to the fact that the person doing the bullying feels deeply insecure and is so afraid that other people will see that they have to be mean to other people to try to like take the eyes off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because that basically means that like everyone along the whole spectrum is being made to feel terrible about themselves by some outside force.
Yeah.
And like that's just it's sad from the top to the bottom.
100%.
And
course.
and
Like,
it also like the thing that bothers me about it is like, so if you are gonna say that if you're gonna bully someone, then you're making the assumption that the way you are is somehow correct.
Yeah.
And the way that another person is not correct. And like JL was saying, like it's not there's no right or wrong unless you're literally hurting another person. The only person
you're
who's wrong
Yeah.
is the person who's hurting someone.
If you're bullying or you're a bigot, you are wrong.
yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
It's like what
Just say where
your idea of normal is not the idea of
There is no normal.
somebody
For
else's
instance,
normal.
like around here in our area, there was this whole like spiel going on about like, oh, if transsexual people get rights to, be identified as a woman, then they are going to prey on women in women's bathrooms. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about these people. That's
You know who thinks that way? Predatory people and their apologists. Their apologist spouses.
Yes,
I'm not-
That's who thinks that way.
I was
It has
like,
nothing to do with gender identity. It has to do with predators.
Yeah.
well, my whole thing was to come back at that. I was like, well, if they're identifying as a woman and they're, biologically a male, then they're obviously gay and they're not going to be attracted to these women in the first place to do anything to them. So why would you worry about
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, people have all different
Well, yeah.
orientations and
They just feel
identities
like
that
the
don't
predators
line
are
up.
going to take advantage of said situation to do these
yeah.
said things, which obviously is going to happen. Everybody's always going to fuck something up for the good.
Well, right.
You know.
Predators are gonna be predators no matter what situation you put in front
But
of them.
the thing there is like, people who are living their truth in a society that discourages that, they're the ones in the most danger.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And the idea that like they are somehow a threat to you based on the fact that you're threatening and you're used to being threatening and you think being threatening is the normal, like it's projection. It's these predatory, threatening, like super normcore people projecting that, of course, anyone else doing anything different, they must be using it to be threatening. They must be using it to be predatory. It's like, my dude, just because you're predatory doesn't mean everyone else is. You know, like
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people putting themselves at risk to live their truth and to be who they are, like that needs to be freaking celebrated. You know, that like hats off to anyone who can weather the storm of all these assholes being bigots. You know, anyone who can stand up and be themselves in the face of all that deserves freaking applause.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
100%
period.
100%. Yeah.
Side note,
Justify.
weathering the storm of all these assholes would
Storm of assholes.
Storm as asshole.
That could be like part 4 of the Tornado series.
That would be awesome.
No,
Asshole storm.
I also
Tornado
just-
Fort, storm of assholes.
I just want to, don't have to ever read a report of, some 13, 14, 15-year-old, ending it all because they were told to by a bunch of fucking idiots. I can live with never seeing that in the news ever again.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's thinking in that direction, and no one's said that they love you today, I love you, and it gets better.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
nothing is worth ending your life.
Yeah.
with.
No. And my thing is, it was always for me, it's like, that shit's just going to transfer to the people that you love. Whatever pain you feel, if you do not want people around you that love you to feel the exact pain that you're feeling, you will never do that to yourself because that shit is just selfish. Because now you're just transferring pain that you feel to those other people that you love. So it just spreads. It's not like it ends with you like you think it would whenever you would end your life. It just transfers.
Yeah, it goes to your children, your family,
Your mother, your
friends.
father, your children, like the
Yeah,
people that are around you that love you.
Yeah. And
The whole
that's always
thing
the
is-
thing. Like, there are people that love you, and there is help available. And it might be really, really, really scary to reach out and ask for help and find the right resources, but that they are out there, and there's help for you.
Yeah.
And if your family doesn't accept you, we're your family now. Timo Neshi all the way.
I will accept anybody because I love everybody. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, yellow, and whatever. Like, come be my friend.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care.
And that's the thing. And
People are people.
sex
to me.
workers are one of the most, when it comes down to it, like disowned by family situations that I've ever seen personally. When it comes down to like, I don't want my parents to know. Like, I don't, my family would disown me if they found out that I did porn, this, that, and the other. It's like whenever it comes down to it, it's like, if your family really loves you, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Like, my grandma was literally yelling at me whenever she found that I made porn on Pornhub, saying, I thought you were better than this, and it's like, months from now, she
doesn't care.
She
But
doesn't
your
care.
mom loves you so goddamn much that she went to Exotica with you to promote your porn.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
Aw.
was selling like pictures of me with my fucking asshole spread. Like here,
Your mom was
$20.
more drunk than you.
Yeah, and it's like she was getting hit on by fucking male porn stars herself, getting asked if she wanted to collab. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
mom. Yeah, like that's what's up.
that's love.
But it really sucks. Like, I don't know how it feels to be like so shunned by your parents
I do.
for. Well, yeah,
It's not
because if
nice.
your parents found out that we made porn for a living,
Mhm.
they would hate us.
Yeah, but isn't porn in the rules of acquisition somewhere? I mean, I'm sure the Ferengi would be all about it.
It's part of the material continuum.
Yeah.
Because the Ferengi is my favorite creation from the Star Trek universe.
Nice.
Anybody in the industry that is feeling down and out, or you need somebody to talk to, there's always Pineapple support as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You do great work with everybody, and they're a sponsor of Exotica. They're there all the time, and they help people through a lot of different things. So if you need to reach out to someone, they are definitely there for support for you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for shouting that out. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, I feel like it got real heavy in here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was going to lighten it up
Shit.
for a minute. JL, favorite version of Star Trek?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
What's your favorite iteration of Star Trek?
Favorite iteration? I really don't subscribe to the having to have one favorite necessarily, because I really love Next Gen. I really love Deep Space Nine. I really love Voyager. I
That's a
really
cop-out
love
answer.
Picard. The original series isn't my favorite. At times it's like hard to watch. At times it's funny. It's funny at best.
There's a lot of cringe in the original series.
Enterprise, there were some things that I really liked about Enterprise, but it wasn't my favorite.
But if you,
Discovery, there was a lot that I've enjoyed about Discovery. There was a few things that I felt like they started to recycle character plot points and character arcs a little bit much. So that was kind of hard to keep me invested, but I really did love the characters and the overall ideas. Did I miss anything? Was there?
No, I think you did.
if you
Or the
were just-
cartoon shows. I guess there's also Lower Decks, which is hilarious. I love
I
that.
haven't seen it yet. I had to find the time for
It's
a few
fun.
things
It's
at
a
the
lot
moment.
funner than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then what?
Prodigy is the kids'
Prodigy we
show.
haven't seen yet.
But like, if you had to just, if somebody was like, "Hey, put on some Star Trek," which one would you choose to put on?
Probably Deep Space Nine.
That's what I was gonna say, like Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, for real.
Do you guys like Stargate?
I haven't watched Stargate.
Yeah, we actually haven't
I
really
haven't seen
gone
it.
through Stargate that much.
Stargate is my jam. Stargate is so
I'm
good.
hearing it a lot. I
Like,
think we
if
tried
you
to
were-
watch the original movie
We
with
watched
Kurt
the
Russell, and
movie.
we were like,
Yes. Okay. So
all right.
basically, like where that ends,
Yeah.
Stargate SG-1 begins.
Yeah.
So everything after that, like they change all of the characters and stuff from the movie to the show,
Yeah.
but they do
Yeah,
so good
sure.
of matching said characters up with each other that you don't
Awesome.
really,
Yeah, 'cause
differentiate.
MacGyver's like the main character.
Yeah,
We
MacGyver.
tried
Main
to
character.
find it, and I forgot what it was, but at the time it
It was
like
really hard
wasn't
to watch.
available
I
on any
think it's-
streaming service. Like SG-1 wasn't, but like Stargate
Atlantis,
Atlantis
it
was,
was.
and we
was,
like
yeah.
wanted to watch SG-1 before Atlantis, and
Yeah,
like we
because you
just
have
couldn't find
to
it.
like the way that it is like season 7
It's
of
on Netflix
SG-1.
It's on Netflix now. Okay.
Yeah, so season 7 of SG-1 is basically when Atlantis starts.
Awesome.
So whenever they had it, like on the Sci-Fi Channel, they had like Friday night was like Stargate SG-1, and then you had Atlantis, and then you had Battlestar Galactica. So you were
Yeah.
watching like
Sweet.
I was watching like all 3 of them in
Yeah.
tandem with each other every Friday night on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Nice.
So-
We went through Babylon 5 not too long ago, and it was my first rewatch since it was like on, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Good.
there was like a couple CG moments that I was like, ugh.
Mhm.
But like
Babylon
the story was just great. The characters were great. I was like, man, this is like way better than I remembered.
I
Yeah, and
enjoyed
then
the
like
old
if you
cheesy
guys
TV.
have seen like Farscape,
Oh,
yeah.
We just rewatched
love
Yes,
that.
Farscape.
Oh, man.
There is in SG-1 Vala Maldoran and Mitchell, which are 2 of the main characters in Farscape, play in SG-1.
it. Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
like
Love
they
that.
kind of like there's like this one episode where they're like kind of fucking like spoofing Farscape, which is hilarious because I'm like
That's
laughing.
awesome.
I'm like, oh, this is so funny. Being the nerd that I am, like they
I
kind
love
of
that.
like
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's great.
play into it. I'm like so fucking
I
good.
love
I
that
love it.
Farscape is like a Jim Henson production, but it's
I
also
know.
the most goth.
It's like the
Sci-fi.
darkest sci-fi.
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
so wild. Man,
What
that.
else are you guys binging at the moment? Lindsay
Actually,
and-
we're-
Oh,
We're kind
Outer
of
Range.
Oh yeah, we're watching Outer Range on Prime.
That's
What are
pretty
ratings?
wild.
It's Josh Brolin as a cowboy, but there's like sci-fi weirdness going on. It is
Maybe
very
gods. We're not sure. It could be fantasy. It could be sci-fi. You don't really know. Like, it's
It's
interesting.
messed up.
It's
shit.
weird.
Okay.
I have been binge watching the Johnny Depp case on YouTube.
We have been binge watching this shit
It's
out
kind of
of it.
unavoidable. Even if you don't want to be
Yeah,
watching it, it's everywhere.
And just joking about it because Johnny Depp has been trolling the whole courtroom, which I think is
Oh yeah.
by far the most Johnny Depp thing that he
Oh,
could
yeah.
I've just been
possibly
watching
do.
the supercuts of his troll moments.
Yeah.
Really? I
He's
haven't
like,
seen
that box,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that box could fit some cocaine. In
He's
it.
like-
I'm like, yes, Johnny. Like laughing because he's like, I mean, it looks like it could fit some cocaine.
I'm
Oh,
glad he's
yeah.
having some fun with it. It's good.
Yeah,
Of course,
it's
yeah.
like the most
Well, today
absurd,
they had a person that was vaping while giving a deposition and driving at the same time.
Yeah, and Johnny's just like cracking up in the background, like in the courtroom, because the guy's like, I honestly don't know what I had yesterday for breakfast, so I don't know why you're asking me all these questions because I don't remember.
It's like, did you see a mark on her face back in like 2013?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
it's like, was she
I'm like-
wearing foundation on May 19th, 2013? It's
who
like,
knows?
Oh, let me check my notes on things that I noticed about her.
yeah,
Like,
it's
what?
like,
Yeah.
do you notice her wearing any blush, any foundation, any
What color was her
concealer?
lipstick?
Yeah,
Like,
what color was the compact that I'm like, what the actual fuck are you
Yeah,
guys
I've
talking
guess they were
about?
trying to
never seen a
prove,
court
like-
case turned into a commercial before, so that's a whole new thing for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, God damn,
So
really?
Stranger Things has come up a bit in chat also. Anyone else here watching Stranger Things? 'Cause
Yes,
that-
Stranger
Yeah.
ooh,
The new season, when does that come out? Is that soon?
This
soon.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Finally.
My daughter is completely obsessed.
Yeah.
But
It's good. It's so good.
there is what was that show?
There-
What was that movie that we just watched? Holmes. It was
Oh, the Sherlock Holmes' sister, Enola.
Enola-
Yeah. Enola
yeah.
Holmes. Yeah, we watched
Enola
that.
Holmes.
That was great.
Yeah, with 11 in it. Like
Yeah.
she was in that, and then we just watched Godzilla versus King Kong, and then
Oh,
she
yeah,
was in
yeah.
that too. I was like, damn, people must really.
Getting
I
around,
do
yeah.
like her. She is a very good
good,
actress.
yeah.
She is so talented, yeah.
But like her as the little like British girl, I was like, that's so good. And I really loved how like she was talking to the camera.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know how it was like that whole
Breaking the
vibe where
fourth
she's
wall,
like
yeah.
actually talking to us like we're part of the movie.
It's like,
I
oh,
love
she
that.
spoke to me.
Yeah, I'm like,
Anyone wants to do something cool in New York? There is a Stranger Things experience
Oh.
going on right now. That I'm actually thinking of hiring someone to be my camera person. I think I'm gonna go do it for the podcast.
May
Oh, let's
27th,
go.
I'm seeing in chat. That's soon.
100%. I'm going. Like, let's
So,
go.
Jason says Will Smith and Chris Rock is better than Johnny Depp.
As far
Jason,
as
I
drama,
don't know about that.
I'm just, celebrity drama. I'm like, oh,
he doesn't get into
I
it.
don't get into
enjoy
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare unless it's like
I
really
think it's
popping up on
hilarious
YouTube.
that both of them are going back and forth bickering at each other at the age that they are. I'm just like, you guys are like children on live TV battling out your relationship. Like, this is crazy.
I guess I've seen enough adults acting like children for several lifetimes that like I don't need to opt into it when it's like
Yeah,
on
I
the
hear
news.
that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like clearly by the evidence that has been shown thus far, you can tell that they were both abusive as fuck. So whenever it comes down to it, like
Yeah.
judge it how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
They were both equally as guilty. So
let's not give
you
them
know,
the screen time.
there's no reason why Johnny Depp should have lost all of these movie contract deals just based upon what this girl said. There's no reason.
And
because
on her
he
side
could've
of
said
things,
the
I
same
don't know
thing
why
about
Aquaman
her.
is keeping her. But
Well, I think his whole thing was like they damned him before the court hearing even happened.
Exactly. They were like, you
So
can't
it
be
was
in
like
any
he was
movie.
guilty before proven guilty.
Which
you
pissed me
know?
off because I wanted to see how he did in Fantastic Beasts. I wanted to see what was going on with that shit.
Yeah.
And they had to change the whole thing because he wasn't allowed to be in the franchise anymore. It's like,
Well, and also Pirates, like there was another film that was going to come out with that, and they canceled them out of that as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's probably like a few other actors out there who really need the work, you know. I mean,
that is true.
I don't think he's hurting for work. Like he's doing all right,
No.
Johnny Depp.
No, if he ever hurts for work, we'll just put him in one of the Tornado series.
Oh,
Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go,
There you
Actually,
go. It
the
could be his
lowest budget-
revival, you know.
If anyone wants to see an amazing low-budget Johnny Depp movie, Yoga Hosers, made by Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was the sequel to Tusk.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when
I Am
Kevin
Tusk.
decided that he wanted to do horror
Tusk, isn't
movies.
that weird, like
Did you say Tusk?
Yeah,
The
I thought you
Tusk?
said Tusk, like I am
Tusk.
Tusk.
It is a movie about a half man, half
Yes.
Wallace.
yeah.
I saw the posters for that. I was like, I don't think I need to watch this movie.
Yeah,
Man,
that was
like,
the
With
most depressing, most weirdest thing I've ever watched.
That's what I heard.
Yoga
What,
People were like, wow, that
Hosers.
was sad and sadistic and grotesque.
you've everybody here has watched Tusk, right?
I have
No,
not.
I haven't. I refuse to watch it.
Oh
I heard it's disgusting.
no, it's
Yeah.
It's
you don't
fucked
want to
up in a
watch it.
beautiful way.
That's what I've
I'm
heard.
literally telling you 100% that it is freaky as fuck. Because
I'm
what's
just gonna
that
rewatch
guy
Star
from he's from that college movie. What the fuck's his name? The main character in Tusk. Adam, what is his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Great. Now I'm gonna draw a blank.
It is he's from the one movie where they make a fake college.
Yeah, Accepted.
Accepted.
movie.
Yeah, he was
He's the Mac guy. Like, the Mac vs. PC. Like, he's the Mac
Justin.
guy. I just forget his
Justin
name.
Long.
yeah.
Oh, Justin Long.
Exactly. He's
Yep.
the main character, but the whole thing is like he's trying to go on this adventure and he ends up finding like an ad in a bathroom and he calls the number and it ends up being like this old guy in a mansion that wants to tell a bunch of his like stories from whenever he was in the ocean or whatever, and he was talking about how a walrus saved his life. Well, he ends up turning this man into a walrus. Like, takes his teeth out, puts fucking walrus teeth in. He sews a walrus suit and cuts the dude's legs off, sews them together so it'll fit in said suit.
God.
It's nasty. It's like the point of where you're like, this is a little bit too
Well, see,
weird / real that it could happen.
That goes into like
moment.
that movie that I saw back in the day too. I only watched bits and pieces of it, but it was called A Serbian Film.
Yeah, it's a
That's like the most deplorable movie that should just be like banned everywhere. Like, it's disgusting.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's like the body horror and like sadism porn. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
almost like, a centipede situation.
Yeah.
That movie's getting weird too. Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically that. It's like, let's sew this person together, cut their
Well, see,
limbs
that's my
off.
thing. Like,
Has anyone
how
ever
can
seen
they
the
sew
South Park
people together
parody
and
of
have them
the
shitting
Centipede?
through each other, but not allow like boobs on, and it be rated?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
South Park parodied the Human Centipede. What was their take on it? I can't
It
remember.
was the human iPod, where Kyle got and 3 other people got sung together to make the perfect iPod.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. You
Well,
got
okay,
to watch the
everyone.
movie Teeth. Jason, what is the movie Teeth about? I don't
Oh.
know.
I'll be right back.
Teeth?
Teeth is the one where she has, what do they call it?
Oh yeah.
She has teeth down there.
Hyperdontia, right?
Oh, she has teeth on her vagina.
Yeah. So it's a horror movie about this.
Oh,
girl. Like,
and she
she's
just
supposed
like
to be
bites
normal.
everybody's stuff off, doesn't she? Yeah.
That's funny though.
I mean, that is funny.
Yeah, I think it's like half funny, half horror kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I
that's
think-
something I would watch because that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
but like the whole Tusk thing, I remember watching it, and it honestly, the sight of like the walrus, because like he would make him like get in this walrus suit and he'd be like, act like a walrus. So he would get like on the ground, flop around like a walrus and make these sounds, but like be half crying while he did it because he was like in so much pain that it honestly like made me kind of feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I was like kind of like,
I didn't watch the movie sober, so I'll take your word for it.
yeah, like it was kind of like one of those. It's so weird that it like makes your stomach turn weird.
It's
Which-
so weird too. Like it feels like Kevin Smith was like, I am sick of being the funny movie guy. I'm going as far in the other direction as possible.
Because honestly, for me, like when it comes down to scary movies, like I'd rather watch something like that, like something that's gonna make me literally like stomach turn, like I kind of want to vomit compared to like I'm scared out of my mind, because those weirder ones that like give you those internal feelings other than being frightened, like almost like oh, that's nasty, like gross, is almost more frightening because you feel those feelings other than like something that's just going to be a jump scare for like 2 seconds and then it's over with.
And then here's
because it sticks with you like in your fucking mind forever. You're like, damn, that one movie that almost made me puke.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not even as gross as the movies, but that's just my opinion.
Evan Stone has a Pirates of the Caribbean parody.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's called Pirates.
Yeah.
It was the most. I think it was like the biggest budget porn film ever made, at least at the time.
What is
yeah.
this?
Pirates.
Shit.
And then there's Pirates, Serengeti's Revenge. I guess that's like the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, those are actually really fun
Jameson's
movies.
claims to fame.
Yeah, I think that's really what made Evan Stone like a big star. He got because that guy can act, and that movie was perfect for him.
Just if anyone wants to know who played the first porno Captain America, it was Evan Stone. He also played the Riddler in one of the Batman parodies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever interview Jenna Jameson, Lynn?
No, not Jenna. She was never around anywhere that I was. But I did interview Evan Stone, and I think
What's going on right now? Oh, me trying to watch the Pirates movie here.
it's fun. There's also there's an R-rated version of it that they put out like mainstream that got actually really popular. So,
Adam, did you ever watch This Ain't Avatar?
What's that?
It's called This Ain't Avatar. It was done by Hustler.
I
This
heard of
ain't
it. I haven't
Avatar.
seen it.
Okay. I'm surprised. Like, it seems like if it has to do with sci-fi and porn, you would be all over it.
I mean,
There's only so
Avatar.
many hours in
porn.
a day. Like right now, I'm all over anything that Wood Rocket Productions has made. Like
Okay.
they did a shout out to my good friend April O'Neil, who's in the Project Pegasus pool. Hey, it's April.com. She did the 10-inch Turtles, which is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles parody, which I think is amazing.
that's such a good title.
There was also they also did a Rick and Morty parody, which was awesome sauce.
Like, how do they not get
I love
sued for
April.
these things?
What? The parodies?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was doing reviews during like the heyday of porn parodies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was some really good stuff, like
I
really quality material. My favorite was the Big Lebowski Triple X.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh,
It was a
wow.
good one.
I remember watching one that was like Alice in Wonderland, and then they had like a Scooby-Doo one. There was so much crap back in the day. Like,
Actually, I watched the the non-sex version of the Scooby-Doo one. It was one of the best Scooby-Doo things I've ever watched.
Yeah,
oh, really?
yeah, they really like got into the source material for that one.
I love that.
There was a Star Trek one too.
Oh,
There
is
are a
there?
couple of them.
Yeah, I can't remember. The first one that came out was pretty good. I might actually have the DVD somewhere in the house.
Yeah, I know there was a Next Generation one with Kimberly Kane. I thought that was amazing.
Yes, I think I saw that one.
I mean, how could there not have been a Deep Space Nine one though? It's right there in the name, you know.
Like deep space.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like Quark could have gotten
8
some.
to 9.
Yeah, like Deep Dick 9.
Right,
Yeah.
right
It's
there.
the whole rules of acquisition as you know. A plot
Yeah,
point.
there's so many options for
Ooh,
names.
I get to play Kira Maurice.
Who would play Kira?
I know who.
I got some ideas.
So, as being like a writer of porn reviews, do you just have like a massive collection of porn DVDs lying around?
I did.
Okay.
I put together an art show in New York City in 2012, where I actually made documentary films. I interviewed a whole bunch of people, both in and out of the industry, about their experiences with porn. And then in the art gallery, we like showed all of these films, but we needed other things to like take up space in the gallery.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me make a mural out of all of my porn DVD covers.
Oh,
like,
that's
I love that. Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
they didn't want me to do that at the gallery. I don't remember why. So instead, I just brought all of my DVDs and we made a stack of them in the corner that was like 20 feet high. It was so huge. And then after that, I kept like approaching art spaces around New York, trying to get somebody to let me do the mural idea.
Yeah.
And it just like, it wasn't panning out because like in order to do that, you have to like screen people walking into the art gallery to make sure that they were of age. And that was like,
Yeah.
True. Yep.
so I eventually just, when we moved out here to Montana, I was like, I can't bring a gigantic trunk of porno DVDs that I'm never going to watch. Like, so I actually gave them away to a private art space, and they had a party where they just let people take home whatever porn they wanted.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, like, is there any like rare porn DVDs that you had that was like ended up being like a cult classic that's worth like a whole boatload of money? Like,
I did keep like my favorites, my personal favorites, but I have not followed up with any of them to like see if they're actually worth anything at this
What
point.
were your favorite?
Well, The Big Lebowski, Triple X, I
Mhm.
kept that one. Wicked did the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
I
which
forgot they did
I
that.
love that.
kept that one. God, I don't know. I really personally like queer and feminist porn, so I kept like the Crash Pad series, like
Mhm.
Volume 1,
I haven't found
and a
that.
bunch of other stuff from those kinds of folks. I can't remember all of them. I've got them like scattered around the house, but
you know what's
those are the
funny?
ones that
Like,
stick out.
I think there's like a whole category on Pornhub where it's like porn made by women for women.
Mhm.
That's the best porn that is out there.
Oh yeah.
It's so much better than all of the other stuff. I'm like, why isn't all of it filmed this way? Like, some of it will be like super cinematic and like sensual and like look really nice and they'll have good storylines. And I'm like, why is not all of it done this way? Like, it makes no sense to me. So,
True.
like, if I ever click on anything, I'm like, I'm going to this section here because it's made better. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Also, check out pinklabel.tv. That's Pink and White Film Studios.
Yeah.
They have a great like online curation of like feminist porn and porn for women and queer porn, and some of the stuff in there is just fantastic. Like, I
Yeah.
think they really prize like the connection between the performers, and for me, that's what does it. That's
it
what
sells it. Like, you know, because if you have like, oh, I got 6 people and we're all banging one girl, like, that's not realistic at all. Like, you know, that's not happening in real life. They're not like, oh, let me flip you this way and then do it this way and then like all this other crazy crap. Like, no, I want to see like a well shot video of like, you know, some love making and like have it look beautiful, and like that's what I want to see. I don't want to see all this like weird crazy shit that I can never do in my own life. Like,
True. Yeah. That makes sense.
but some people do want to watch that. It's
I
like,
mean,
I
yeah.
can never do that. I want to see how they do it.
Yeah, let me watch the most unrealistic porn where it's like they're filling every hole like 8 times.
But see,
by-
I also feel that type.
You know what I want to see?
Yeah.
I want to see a sexy clown on a unicycle dancing around.
A sexy
Yeah.
clown on a unicycle.
You
I
know,
bet we can make that happen.
I feel
Hey, and on the unicycle, we could have a dildo that goes up and down every time she pedals.
My
do
God,
that,
wait.
do that.
No, there was a God, I can't remember who did it. I think it was probably in Portland or something. Somebody made a fuck bike.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Do you remember? They used to
Nice.
have
remember
it.
that? That was we
They
saw
had
that
it-
in a museum. Was it
Yeah,
in the
it was at the
Museum
Museum of Sex in New York. They had it in the window for a while, and then I finally saw the film that was made with it. So like the film starts out like with the wheel or something, and they follow all of the mechanisms that actually make this bicycle work like the gears and everything, and then it
Mhm.
eventually like slides down this long tube or whatever, and at the end there is a dildo, and the person who's actually on the bicycle is making the fuck machine part of work, and it is actually having sex with someone on the other end. And it's like this 15-minute film. It's beautiful, and at the end it's like, oh whoa, I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
That's so
Oh,
cool.
wow.
I love that
Yeah, that's an awesome concept.
for sure.
Unfortunately, I didn't come up with it first.
Hey, excuse me, JL. Who were some of your influences, comic book art-wise, growing up?
Comic influences growing up. So let's see. I really loved Eastman and Laird, of course, with Ninja Turtles. I talk
Nice.
about this a lot on different interviews. My first anthology that I ever had was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anthology, where they had a whole bunch of different creators do different shorts of the Turtles. And you'd flip through it, and every 8 pages was done by like a different artist. That was called Turtle Soup. And
That's a classic.
I just loved it so much. I was like so confused and bewildered by like looking through it. I was like, wait, now the turtles look different and it's a different story. What the hell is going on? But like I just kept it and I loved it. I treasured it and it stuck with me. And for a while, like, I don't know, whenever like my dad was picking me up on nights or weekends that he had custody, he would always like his little, I guess, like peace offering to me was he would bring me like a Superman comic. So there was a while there where I was getting like Superman comics, and they really grew on me. This was like pre-Death of Superman, like right before, and even I kept reading them after Death of Superman. And there's a lot about the Superman character that strangely I really related to, and I hear a lot of people talking about how they could never relate to Superman. But I definitely did. And then I
think
also had
Superman is one of the more relatable characters if you really break it down.
yeah, if you really break it down, that's the thing. He's not on the surface, but this idea of like trying to get along in like
Trying to see the best in everyone,
mainstream,
regardless,
yeah.
I think is the real message of Superman.
Also, though, like having to pretend you're like everyone else to get along.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Having
you're
to,
really
like,
not. Like you're somebody completely
hide-
different.
that equates to daily life. Like,
Exactly.
nowadays.
100%.
I am.
Like- Think about it. Superman, here's this character who can fight frickin' any monster, but like just to get by and not be completely alone, he has to pretend to be
Like a nerd.
this nerd who's like totally damageable and totally like frail, like the rest of the humans that he sees running around. He has to like
little do you
pretend
know
to
that
have all
he's
these
a
weaknesses.
badass.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
not feel alone.
But the
Yeah,
cool
it's
thing
like-
is that Clark Kent is not the disguise. It really is who he is in his soul.
Yeah.
Well, and so there's a lot of different ways you could take it, and there's a lot of ways you could look at it. But ultimately, it's just about like the part of ourselves that we show to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and the part of ourselves that we don't feel safe being vulnerable about. And his real vulnerability, all of his invulnerabilities, his real vulnerability is like the part of himself he doesn't want to show everyone. It's that crossover of like being this tender person who also has God power. Like it's really interesting. I always thought it was really interesting,
Mm-hmm.
And then I read Sonic the Hedgehog comics for a little bit. That was really, really fun.
Love Sonic.
I really enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm trying to think what other like, for a little while there, I was on like a Dark Horse and Image kick. Like I loved the
Dark Horse,
Aliens
okay.
and Predator comics. I loved Spawn. Yeah, I guess that those are like the big ones. Other things I checked out here and there, but those were like the big like. For this chapter in my life, I was all about Sonic. For that chapter, it was all Superman. For that chapter, it was all Spawn. But I'll always have a soft spot for all of them. I'll probably lampoon the heck out of them in like my own parodies. But only because I love them.
Of course.
Awesome.
Well, Adam, we are going to have to check out for tonight.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm gonna say farewell and good night to everybody at this point, and just I want to please go to check out everything at Nessie Press on the internet.
Thank you.
If you have the means, please go support Tracy Queen on Kickstarter. Please check out Autumn South and all of her stuff. Please go to Twitter / the comic pimp and minivid / blind Adam for all my stuff. I do have official websites coming soon. Please subscribe to Awesome Sauce Radio on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get to 269 because who doesn't love 269s?
And at radio_sauce on Twitter. Make sure you follow us there as well.
Yep.
Because that's
and
where
I can take my sponsors, 98 Wednesdays. Check them out. Check out Exotica. Check out Torpedo Comics. Check out
tornadomovie.com.
Just anyone who sponsored the show tonight, thank you. I love you all. You don't decide to have a vision. It's not what happens to what you do about it. I love you all. Blood out. Good night.
Good night.